Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this dress, baby dress here. Now this is newborn size. It's sized for a newborn. I have a newborn doll that I sized it for, tried it on, and it fits perfect. But I don't have any other sizes available. I only have the newborn. So this is what it looks like. I know you know this, but I still have to say it. Remember, oh, never leave baby unattended with roses or ribbons or anything like that. If you're not gonna, you can leave that stuff off if you want, or you could just use this for a photo prop, but make sure if you put this on baby to watch out for these, because they can come off. I know you know that, but I just had to say it. Anyways, newborn size, only size I have available. I don't have any diaper covers or anything to match yet, not at the moment, but like I said, you can leave the ribbon and ribbon roses off if you want. Here's the stitch. I think it's really pretty. It's kind of star shape there, I guess. It's not really that hard to do. I think that advanced beginner probably could do this. Hardest part was getting that ribbon on there, believe it or not. And then it's going to have hook and eye closures in the back to hold it together. I just didn't have any matching thread, so I cannot put that on there. So you don't have any babies in your family? That's okay. I made this for a doll dress for my daughter. If you have any granddaughters, daughters that use doll dresses, good size for a doll dress. Don't have any granddaughters or daughters for doll dresses? A lot of people make these and donate them to hospitals to give to people that have newborns. So, you know, or anything like donated other places. So there's always room for place for a real pretty cute baby dress. So, and it's got some edging at the bottom, shell edging. Let's go ahead and get started on this one too. Let's do it. Okay, for this project I use Caron Simply Soft Speckle. Now it is a 100% acrylic medium weight number 4. You do not have to use this yarn. Any medium weight number 4 will work. There's 235 yards per skein, and this is my second skein, so I'm going to say you're going to need about 320 yards of your main color. The color I have is called Snapdragon, and then I edged it with the same yarn, only white. Not much of that, maybe 30 yards, 50 just to be, you know, just to say, but probably like 30 yards. Not much of all at that, but this is the same, it's just white. Also, if you want to, you're going to need some ribbon. This is 3/8 inch ribbon. These are ribbon roses. Ribbon and ribbon roses both came from my local Walmart in the ribbon aisle, right down from the buttons. And then you're going to need some hook and eye closures for the back. Again, these came from Walmart, across in the same aisle, the button aisle. Across from the buttons is where mine were located. 3 of these for the back. You're going to need some matching thread and a sewing needle to sew these on. And also matching thread and sewing needle for your ribbon roses if you choose to sew them on also. And I'm going to be using a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. Okay, the gauge on this is 15 single crochets across equal 4 inches and 18 rows of single crochet equal 4 inches. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with a chain of 44 chains. Now once you get your chain of 44 done, we are going to do 1 double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. Now remember, we do not count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch, we're going to double crochet. And now we're going to work along the chain, putting 1 double crochet in every stitch. Just like this. So row 1, 1 double in every stitch until you get to the end of the row. Alright, I have made it to the end of row 1, and now you should have a total of 42 stitches, and that includes this little chain here on the end he counts as a stitch. So counting him, you'll have a total of 42 now at the end of row 1. So for row 2, we are going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. And then we're going to turn our work. Now what we want to do is we want to have 2 double crochets in a row. And then the next stitch we will put 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So we are going to double crochet into the next stitch. We're not going into this very first stitch because that's what the chain 3 counts as. We're going to go into the next one and we're going to do a double crochet. So counting that chain 3, there's 2 double crochets in a row. Now the next stitch, we're going to put 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So there's 1 and 2. And now that's what we're going to repeat for row 2. We're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 into the next, and then 1 into the next, and then the next stitch we will put 2 double crochets into the same stitch, like that. And we're going to keep repeating that until we get to the end. So I'll do it one more time. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 double into the next, and then 1 double into the next, and then the next stitch is going to get 2 doubles into the same stitch. So I'm just going to keep repeating that. 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles. 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles. All the way until we get to the end of row 2. Alright, I'm coming to the end of row 2, and you should be able to finish out a complete repeat. So I just did 2 double crochets in a row, and then my last stitch is actually this little chain here on the end. We're going to put 2 double crochets into the top of that, and that will end row 2. There we go. And then at the end of row 2, you should have a total of 56 stitches. Okay, now we're going to start on row 3. We are going to chain 3, which again counts as a double crochet. Turn our work. Now this time we want to have 3 double crochets in a row, and then we want to have 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So since this counts as our first double crochet, we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next 2. So there's 1 and there's 2. Now counting that chain 3, we have 3 double crochets in a row. Now the next stitch, we're going to put 2 doubles into the same stitch like this. Okay, now we're going to repeat that again. 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then the next stitch, we'll put 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Again, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. There's 1 and 2 and 3, and then we get 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So now that's the repeat now for row 3. 1 double, 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles. 1 double, 1 double, 1 double, 2 doubles, all the way until we get to the end of the row. Alright, I've made it to the end, and again you should be able to do a complete repeat. So I just did 3 double crochets in a row, and I'm going to end by putting 2 double crochets into the top of that last chain 3. Like that. And now at the end of row 3, you should have a total of 70 stitches. Okay, we're going to move on and to row 4. And again, we're going to start with the chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and we're going to turn our work. Now we want to put 4 double crochets in a row and then 2 double crochets in the next. So this counts as our first double crochet. So we'll go ahead and double crochet into the next stitch. Remember, not the very first one, but the next one. Double crochet, and then double crochet into the next, and then one more time into the next. So counting that chain 3, there is 4 double crochets in a row. Now the next stitch is going to be 2 doubles into the same stitch. And that's what we're going to repeat now for row 4. 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the next stitch is going to be 2 doubles into the same stitch. And that's the pattern we're going to repeat now for row 4. 1 double into the next 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 doubles into the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern until I get to the end of the row. 1 double into the next 4, and then 2 doubles into the next, all the way to the end. Alright, I have made it to the end of row 4, and you should have ended with a complete repeat. So 2 double crochets there into that last stitch, and now you should have a total of 84 stitches at the end of row 4. Now row 5 is going to be where we start the armholes. It's not hard. So what we're going to do is chain 3 like always, which counts as a double crochet, and then we're going to turn our work. Now we want to do 1 double crochet into the next 11 stitches. So counting this double crochet, we'll have a total of 12. So not in the very first stitch, but the next one. We're going to do 11 in a row. There's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay, so there's 11, and then if we count that chain 3, we'll have a total of 12 double crochets there. Now we are going to do a chain of 2, 1, 2, and we're going to skip the next 18 stitches. And then the next one, so we skipped 18, here's my 18th one, and the next one, with this chain 2 on my hook, I'm going to go ahead and double crochet into that next one, like that. So that's our first armhole. Now we want to do 1 double crochet into the next 24. So this double crochet that we just did count as number 1. So counting that one, we want to do 24 in a row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've got my 24 stitches there in a row across the front. Now what I'm going to do is a chain of 2 again, and I want to skip the next 18 stitches just like we did on the other side. And in the next one, with that chain 2 still on our hook, we're going to go ahead and double crochet in that next one, and that is our second armhole. Now we're going to go ahead and finish out double crocheting in the remaining stitches. We should have 12, so this counts as number 1, 2, 3, 4, And here's 12 on the top of that chain 3. And that'll end row 5. And now you should have 48 stitches. And that is not counting these stitches here of the armhole. So you got your 12 here, and then you got your 24 in the front, and then you got your 12 on the other side. So these right here, the armhole, don't count. We'll work with them later. And then you'll have your 2 chain 2 spaces. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to end round 5 by slip stitching into the first chain 3 over here. So we're going to go ahead and we got our work folded, and we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into this first chain 3 here on this side. That's how we end row 5. So now our piece is slip stitched together, and we'll use our hook and eye closures to close this up later. So we're going to be working in rounds now for the remainder of the dress, because we're going to be working on the skirt part now. So for row 1, or actually this would be round 6. This was row 5, so we're going to start working on rounds. So round 6, I'm just going to start saying rounds now. We are going to chain 1. We will not be turning our work anymore either. We are going to go right back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now the next stitch we are going to do a shell. Now this is how we do the shell. Right into the very next stitch. We're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, another double crochet, chain 1, and then another double crochet, like that. So that's the shell. Double, chain 1, double, chain 1, double, all into the same stitch. And now I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch. Now this is going to become very tight and very ruffly, but that's what you want. That's what will give your dress a little bit of a ruffle. And then we're going to shell into the next. So we do a double, chain 1, and then a double, chain 1, and then another double, all into the same stitch. And then we single crochet into the next, like that. And that's what we're going to repeat all the way around. Shell into the next, which is 1 double, chain 1, 1 double, chain 1, and then 1 more double, and then single crochet into the next, shell into the next, double, chain 1, double, chain 1, and double, and single crochet into the next. And as you can see, it's looking really tight. Don't worry about that, that's fine. That's what we want. So we're going to keep doing this until we get to our chain 2 space here. I'm almost there, so I'm just going to continue here, working my shell, single crochet, repeat all the way around. So I'm in my chain 2 space now. So the last thing I did was a shell. So in this chain 2 space, I'm just going to count these chain 2s as stitches. So I'm going to put in the first one a single crochet, since I just ended in a shell. And in the next one, I'm going to put a shell. I'm just going into the chain space. That. Now the next stitch will be a single crochet, and it gets really tight here. You want to make sure you pull it apart and get that very first stitch. Since we just ended in the shell, this one will be a single crochet. So I'm going to keep repeating the shell, single crochet, repeat all the way around. When I get to my next chain 2 space, I'm just going to treat it, just go along doing the same pattern just like we did over here until we get back to our starting point. All right, I am coming to the end of round 6. Now my last stitch should have been a shell, and I'm going to end with slip stitching into my first single crochet over here that we did. And you should have a total of 26 shells. Now remember, I said that if it's all ruffly and looking weird, that's fine. It's gonna look like that. It'll look better later. I hope anyways, because I'm kind of just winging it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start round 7. So since we just slip stitch into a single crochet, now we're going to start with the shell on the next round. So we're going to chain 1. And we're going to go back into that same stitch that we slip stitched into, and we're going to work a shell. So we're going to work a double, chain 1, a double, chain 1, and then a double. Now we are going to skip the first double crochet of the next shell, and in the middle double crochet of the next shell we are going to single crochet like that. And now we're going to skip the last double crochet of the same shell, this one, and then right down here in this single crochet from the previous row we are going to do a shell into that single crochet. Double, chain 1, double, chain 1, and double. And that's what we're going to repeat for round 7. Here's the shell from the previous round. We are going to single crochet in the middle stitch of that shell. So we're skipping this one double crochet, and in the next one, which will be the middle stitch of the shell, we're going to single crochet into it. And then we are going to shell right down here into the single crochet from the previous row. So we're skipping this double crochet, last double crochet of this shell, going down here to the single crochet and working a shell. So double, chain 1, double, chain 1, and double. And that's what we're going to repeat all the way now around for round 7. Single crochet in the middle stitch of the shell from the previous round, and then we are going to shell right down here into the next single crochet from the previous round. Single crochet in the middle, double crochet from the next shell of the previous round, and then shell in the next single crochet right down here from the previous round. So I'm going to keep repeating this now all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Alright, I'm coming to the end of round 7. Now your last stitch should have been a single crochet in the middle stitch of this shell from the previous round. Now we're going to end by slip stitching into the first double crochet of our first shell from the previous round. And you should still have 26 shells. You'll always have 26 shells. Now we're going to start round 8. What we're going to do is we need to slip stitch to this middle stitch of the very first shell. So we're going to slip stitch into the chain space, the next chain space, and then into the middle stitch. So we slip stitched 2 times there after the very ending slip stitch. And now we're going to start again. We are going to chain 1, and now this time, since we're in the middle of the shell, we have to start with a single crochet into that same stitch, and then we are going to shell into the next single crochet from the previous round. So we're skipping this double crochet, and right down here we shell into that single crochet. So it's pretty much the same thing. We're just starting the rows different and ending them different. Now we're going to single crochet in the middle stitch of the next shell, so this double crochet right here, and then we are going to shell into the next single crochet from the previous round. So we skip this double crochet of this shell, and right down here in this single crochet we're going to work a shell. So I am going to repeat this pattern here on round 8 all the way around until I get back to the beginning. And this is what it's starting to look like. And remember, it's okay if it's still a little ruffly. The longer it gets, the less ruffly it'll be. Kind of makes a little star if you look at it closely, right through here. But just going to keep repeating that pattern until you get around here to the end of round 8. All right, now when you come to the end of round 8, what we are going to do, you should have ended there with the shell, and then we are going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet that we did. 26 shells still, always 26. Now you want to repeat rounds 7 and 8. They're pretty much the same except for the way they start and the way they end. 7 and 8, you keep repeating that until you get your dress as long as you want it to be. Now I have done a total of 24 altogether. That is starting from round 1. So 1, 2, I guess row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we started counting rounds at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way down to 24. Remember, up here is number 1, all the way down to 24. Okay? So round 1 to 24. That's how many I did. I'm going to do a row of edging now. So I'm going to go ahead and tie off that yarn there. Now, I'm switching colors. You don't have to, of course, if you don't want to. That's up to you. So I'm going to start on the back of my work here, kind of right here where I left off. I'm going to use some white now. You don't have to put an edge on it. You can use the same color, whatever you want. But I'm going to go with some white. And I am going to start in the same stitch that I just stopped in, that single crochet. I'm going to go into it, drop a loop, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to single crochet into that single crochet. Now this is my edging. This is row or round 25, the edging round. Now I'm going to go to the middle of this shell right here. So we skip that double crochet, we go to the middle double crochet, and I'm going to work an edging shell. And what that is going to be 5 double crochets all together into the same stitch. So this is the shell that we put on our edging. It's different than the shell that we were doing for the main portion of the dress. So I got 5 of those all into the same stitch like that. That white is bright. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to skip the double crochet of that shell, and we're going to come down here into the single, and I'm going to put a single on top of that single. So the shell, this edging is made just a little different than what we did the rest of it. So I'm going to come over here to the next shell from the previous row in the middle stitch right here. So we're skipping this double of the shell, and we're working in the middle stitch. And we're not going to put a single into it like we normally would. We're going to put a shell into it, an edging shell. So it's going to be 5 double crochets all together into the same stitch. Like that. And then I'm going to jump down here to this single crochet from the previous round, and I'm going to put a single crochet into it. just like that. So that's what the edging, the white in the light makes it really hard to see, I guess. I apologize. So that's what the edging is going to look like. So again, we're going to jump to this shell from the previous row, and in the middle stitch, we're going to work our edging shell, which is 5 double crochets into the same stitch. And then we're going to jump right down here to the single crochet from the previous row, and we're going to single crochet right into it. Now that's the pattern I'm going to repeat all the way around. Jump to the next shell, the middle stitch, and we're going to work 5 double crochets into it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the single crochet down here from the previous row, we're going to work a single crochet right on top of it like that. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Alright, I'm coming to the end. Should have 26 shells here, edging shells. I just finished my last shell. Now I'm going to end the round by slip stitching into my first single crochet, and I'm going to tie off. Clip that yarn off. I've got a lot of tails to hide. That's okay. Okay, so I'm going to work a little edging across the collar and across the sleeves. So first thing I'm going to do is work across the collar. So go ahead and you put your dress to where it's facing. This is the back where it opens, but it's the right side. So I'm going to be working a reverse single crochet across the collar and across the sleeves. So reverse single crochet is the same as single crochet, except for you work it opposite. So you want to go ahead and start right here. I'm right-handed, so for me to work opposite, I would start on this side of my work. Or I crochet right-handed. So just start in that first stitch there. And I'm going to just draw up a loop in that first stitch. And I'm going to chain 1. Now all I'm going to do is work a single crochet in every stitch all the way around the collar. But remember, I'm working in a reverse. I'm going the opposite direction of what I normally would. It's still a single crochet. You go into that next stitch there, just like normal. But you're just working it in reverse. It just makes a kind of a cute little nice little edging it makes on it. On your items. See, I'm just going in every stitch. It is a bit awkward at first, I guess, but once you get the hang of it, it'll go by quick. I am putting a single crochet in every stitch. I'm just working the opposite direction. Some people call this the crab stitch. Maybe you've heard it called that. I don't usually call it that. I always just call it reverse single crochet. Because that's what I'm doing. Just working a single crochet in the opposite direction. I'm a little slower at it because I'm not used to working this way, this direction, but it's real easy. It's just one single crochet in every stitch all the way across the collar. That, and it just makes that cute little edging there, kind of where it's the light kind of blinding you with that white, kind of where it's like, I don't know, I always think it looks kind of like a rope or something. But I'm going to do this all the way around the collar here until I get to my last stitch, and then I'll meet back up with you. Remember, one single crochet in every stitch, just working it in the opposite direction as normal. Okay, so I'm coming to the end here, and right here in my last stitch, I'm going to slip stitch that off. And that, I will go ahead and tie that off then. And then you'll have to go back and hide that tail. Okay, so you should have, if you count this slip stitch as a stitch and the chain one as a stitch, you'll have 42, because that's what we started with in the beginning. Isn't that cool? I like the reverse single crochet. It looks really neat. So now we're going to do the same thing on the sleeves to kind of make it match. So remember, we just got to work in the opposite direction as we normally would. So let's see, we'll start with this sleeve, and we will start on this side and work our way over. So now remember, back in the beginning when we were doing the sleeves, we skipped 18 stitches, okay? I want to start in this stitch right here that this double crochet is attached to. And this one has nothing in it, see it? This one right here has this double crochet in it. I want to start in that one. And I want to pull my yarn through. Now that's not one of the 18 that we skipped. We want to chain one. And now we're going to put a reverse single crochet over the next 18 stitches that we skipped. So we do it the same way. Just go through backwards, working a single crochet in those 18 that we skipped. Okay, once you get across the 18 that you skipped, this stitch right here that has the single crochet in it, right here on the end, we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that. You see it right there? It's been worked already by, or a double crochet, I'm sorry. It's got that double crochet in it. It's been worked. We're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that. It is hard to slip stitch these reverse single crochets, for me anyways, like that. Now you'll have those 18 stitches that you worked, and then you'll have this slip stitch on the end, and then if you count this chain one as a slip stitch over here on this end, that's what we'll have. So now we're going to do this one more time on the other sleeve. So again, you want to start the right side of your sleeve facing up so your stitches go the right way. And you just want to start the same spot and work your way backwards. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I went ahead and took a minute and hit all my tails. So that's what I got so far. Both my sleeves were done the same. I think that it looks pretty good. Now you could be done if you want. I'm actually making mine as a doll dress for my daughter. So I have some old decorations that I'm going to put on them. Now remember, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But I got some ribbon here. Okay, I'm going to do my ribbon, and I'm going to do it on this 5th row here, the armhole row. I'm not going to go all the way around. I'm just going to go around the front here and then back around the back side of the front. So you determine where you want your bow to come out. I probably think I want mine to come out kind of on the side a little bit. So right about here, like that. So now I'm going to work my ribbon, and you can skip however many stitches you want to skip in between them. I'm going to try 3, so I'm going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and go over and under the next. That. Then I'm going to skip 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and go over. Actually, I'm just going to skip all 4 of those and wrap it around like that. That's what I'm going to do, because I want to make sure the end is wrapped around that last stitch. So I'm just going to skip those, and now I'm going to work on the inside, going along the inside. I'm going to tell you, this is probably the hardest part of the whole dress. Getting this ribbon in here how it's supposed to be. Of course, it does not have to be perfect. You can skip however many stitches you want. I'm just going to go, we skipped that stitch. I'm going to skip, then go over and under the next one. It's just kind of like as long as it gets done. Just making sure you don't twist your ribbon, that's all. And then let's see, I guess I'll go over and under the next one. Skip however many you want, I guess. It's inside, I guess it's not really going to make a difference. I'm probably going to skip about 3 or so. Untwist your ribbon. 1, 2, 3, skip again. Let's see, count 3 again. 1, 2, 3, skip. And then I'm just going to take it now and just pull it through all the way to the front to skip whatever. There's like 2 stitches left, I think. I can't see. It does not have to be like mine, but, and wrap it around the front so the ribbon is on the outside of that last stitch. And now we're going to work our way across over here to where we want our bow. So let's see, I'm going to skip these 2 and I'm going to go over and under this next one here. Remember, it don't have to be like mine, just as long as we get it to work. And then here's where we skipped before, so I'm going to go over and under the next one. Under and over, I'm sorry. Like that. And then I'm just going to work my way over, under and over. Let's see, we're right here from the behind, so under and over this one. And now we are at where we want our bow to come out. I have these 2 stitches. I'm gonna go over and under this last one here. Now our ribbon's coming out the same spot. There we go. So we don't want it to pull tight. Make sure it's loose or just about equal. Make sure it's not, your ribbon's not crooked anywhere in there. And then you tie a bow. I am not good at tying bows. I'm actually very, very, very bad at it. So I'll probably have to redo it off camera a whole bunch to even get it to look right. I probably will never get it to look right. But I'll try my best. Now my ribbon's all twisted up. My goodness. Okay, so what I'm going to do is fix my ribbon and tie a bow. And then, there. Okay, now, however you want to tie your bow, however you normally tie a bow. Get my silky side up. Oh my, that's horrible. But anyways, now you can leave your these things as long as you want. Trim them to your desired length. Oh my goodness. Alright. I'm going to trim mine up at an angle. Alright, yay! Now I'm going to put some flowers on mine. And you can sew these on with a regular needle and thread if you like, with some matching thread. You don't have to put these on if you don't want to, but I'm going to do that. 3 of them. Okay, I don't know about you, but I think that ribbon was the hardest part of the whole dress. I do. Okay, one last thing we want to do is sew on the hook and eye closures right here. And you just do that with a regular needle and thread. Choose what color hook and eye closure you want. You can put however many you want. I'll probably put 1, 2. I'll probably put 3 down the back, but that's up to you. So you just get some matching thread, like some purple thread. I don't have any right now. I have to go to Walmart and get some to match. But what you do is use your regular needle and thread, and you sew. This is the hook side, or the closure side right here, that. And this is the hook side with the little hook. And you can see when you look at them, they both have 2 little holes. And that's where you sew through. So you put one on one side. I always put the holes underneath like that, and then I sew it on like that. It's super tiny, super tedious, but like that with a regular yarn and needle. Like I said, I got to get some purple thread, and then exactly on the same spot on the opposite side, put the holes underneath and leave your hook hanging out just a little bit like that, and sew it on with a regular matching thread and needle, and then they will hook up in the back like that. And like I said, for this back I will probably use 3 of those. Probably one right up here at the top, and then one in the middle, and then one towards the bottom like that. So top, bottom, and then one somewhere in the middle, and that's it. Your dress is done. Woohoo! Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you were able to follow along. Okay, hopefully that ribbon thing didn't confuse anybody. Remember, it doesn't have to be exactly like mine, and you don't even have to put the ribbon on if you don't want to. That's up to you. But I think it turned out really cute. My daughter's gonna like it for a doll dress, and I think it'd work well for any little newborn. So if you like this, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell button and make it ring. That way you never miss any of my videos, any of my crochet tutorials. I do lots of yarn talk, anything yarn and crochet related, I do it. So again, thanks everybody for watching. If you make this dress or any of my crochet tutorials, I have hundreds of them, I'd really like to see a picture. You can post a picture on my Facebook page, which I'll put a link to that below in the description box. You can tag me on Instagram, follow me on there, and show me what you made from my tutorials. I'm always interested in seeing them. But that's it, everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good night.